Hello. Just want to give a shout out to Jay Kirsting and a review he did on a film that I happen to really enjoy, which is a military film, Kelly's Heroes, starring Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas, Donald Sutherland. Very good film. Good pick by Jay. I loved his reasons behind it, that why he likes it. First off, I want to say I'm not a professional filmmaker either. I help produce some films that are out there, and we got to work on some sets with some people. But by no means am I a critic either. I just know that movie making can be hard. Actors and crews, they put a lot of hours in. It's not easy. It's hard, no doubt about it. He did a garage setting, which was cool. A guy in a garage reviewing a film that he likes. And that's all I'm going to do is talk about a film that I like. And I had picked this film days ago, before even talking to Jay and coming up with this idea, maybe volleying back and forth a little bit of review on some military films or whatever genre, that he goes with. I might just follow with that. But we were going through some films. My son, who's probably watched more films, he knows a lot more about film than I do. But we were watching trailers, and the one came up, and it's called Catch-22, starring Alan Arkin. The cast is amazing. I did write down the cast. I don't remember them all by heart. But Alan Arkin and Martin Balsam, who's in some of these trailers. I'll show you a couple clips. Richard Benjamin, Art Garfunkel from Simon and Garfunkel. It's his film debut. And Jack Gilford, Buck Henry, who wrote it. He helped the director, Mike Nichols, write it. Bob Newhart, Anthony Perkins, Paula Prentice, Martin Sheen, John Voight, and Orson Welles. Bob Belaba, Norman Fell, Charles Grodin, Austin Pendleton, just to name a few. Some cool trivia on it. Mike Nichols, he directed films like The Graduate, Closer, The Birdcage, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Charlie Wilson's War, just to name a few of what he's done. He's done a lot. He took this film, and it's a book written. It's a novel written by. It took him 2 years for Mike Nichols and Buck Henry to convert Joseph Heller. He wrote this, and Joseph Heller was actually involved in it, but they turned it into a screenplay. It took him 2 years. Joseph Heller was really pleased with Mike Nichols being involved as the director. Art Garfunkel's first film debut, and Paul Simon was the guest in the film, but his part was written out later on. So, a little bit of trivia. Garfunkel, the filming took longer than expected. He was supposed to be back in New York City helping Paul Simon finish the album Bridge Over Troubled Waters. And it took long, so Paul was upset when he wasn't making it back. So Paul actually wrote a song titled The Only Living Boy in New York. And in there's some lyrics that says, Tom, get your plane right on time. I know your part will go fine. Fly down to Mexico. And it was a thinly veiled attack at Art Garfunkel by Paul Simon for him being left to do most of the production of that album himself. The film, Alan Arkin's character is trying to get out of flying missions, so he's trying to convince the doctor that he's nuts. The doctor isn't falling for it, and they talk about in this trailer that you see, how can I do this? And the doctor's like, well, you just come to me and tell me, like these other people do. And he's like, oh, I can do that, basic kind of like that. And he's like, no, there's a catch to it, because if you're coming and telling me, then it's obviously you're not nuts. You're just trying to get out of more missions. So, but the cast is great. There's so many people in it. When you see it, you watch it, you recognize their faces. It was filmed in 1970. It was filmed in Mexico. There was some issues with the budget. Transportation was difficult. They had to build a road, $150,000 on some road construction, $250,000 to build an airstrip. Bob Newhart's scene, he's a character he's playing as Major Major. He's going on a tirade in one scene in an office, and he's going back and forth. He's having a fit. There's a picture on the wall when he walks by it, and it's Dwight Eisenhower in the picture. And as he's walking around the room, as the camera comes back following him in one take, they replaced that picture of Dwight Eisenhower with a picture of Winston Churchill. And they did it just to see if people would catch it. And as he's walking around, he does it again. He makes another pass, and as he comes back, it's now Stalin in the framed picture. So that was interesting. There's a scene where the Balsam and John Voight, who's in it, Angelina Jolie's father, he's in it as a young lieutenant, and he comes up to him because John Voight's character is the mess officer. He's in charge of the mess hall, the food and all that. And they're talking about these eggs and how they can make a little bit of money on it and sell it to the mess, to the military from a local farm, I think it was. But I haven't seen it in a while. I'm going to watch it again. They're walking down from the tower after the planes take off. 17 of these military bombers that were revamped, redone, brought up to snuff so they could fly in the film. They all take off as they're coming down, and they walk up this roadway. As they start to walk, the planes are flying back around. They circle out and they come back over the set. And as they do that, then they walk further down. And then there's a plane that's damaged, landing on the with smoke coming out of it, landing on the runway next to them. And as it goes by, you'll see that then there's a plane already set up. This one goes by on the runway, and there's a plane set up on the runway like it's crashed.
Good afternoon, men. This is Major Danby, your flight operations officer, welcoming you to today's mission. Now, you've all been briefed on this morning's run, so I won't go over the details again. There's no sense naming names, since the enemy is probably listening, and there's no reason I can think of to tell him exactly where we're going to strike.
That's the stupidest goddamn thing I ever heard you say.
That's right. Weather conditions have improved tremendously over the mainland, so you won't have any trouble at all seeing the target. Of course, you mustn't forget, that means that they will have no trouble at all seeing you. I believe Colonel Cathcart would like to say a few words before takeoff, men. And so, without further ado...
Men, I'm not going to waste any more of your time than I have to. I want to wish you good luck on today's mission. To those of you who won't be coming back, I'd like to say we're going to do our best to take care of your wives and/or sweethearts. And don't forget, General Treadle wants to see a nice, tight bombing pattern on those aerial photographs. Everyone ready to go? Colonel Korn, I'd like you to stay in the control tower.
Sir?
Stay on top of this mission. It's a tough one. I like to know when my boys make target.
Yes, sir.
What is it, Lieutenant Binder?
An egg, sir!
I know that, Lieutenant!
A fresh egg, sir!
Where did you get the egg?
In Malta, sir! Where there are enough chickens to lay fresh eggs for every officer of the squadron at 5 cents apiece from the mess fund!
Yes?
With a clear profit of 2 cents per egg!
For whom?
Sir, for whomever sells the eggs to the mess!
And who may that be, Milo?
Ah, sir, oranges from Marrakesh and pecans.
Pecan.
And in Palermo, sir, 10,000 gallons of the finest Italian olive oil. The Sicilians need blankets. It would be a fair trade, sir. There's an interested party in Sardinia. All we need is the cooperation of the countries that we're dealing with.
What countries are you dealing with?
The African nations, sir.
African?
Well, the countries in the greater Mediterranean area, sir.
Oh, I see.
So, what we have to have is an additional assignment of personnel, a little time, and a plan. I thought at my disposal, I could get the gas.
Well, all right.
And if I was taken off combat duty, sir, that is just until I get this thing into operation.
But Milo, look.
No, sir, that I'm just an acting mess officer, Colonel. But it's a job that requires my full attention, I believe. It's for everyone's benefit.
Well, all right. Take whatever you need, Milo.
Thank you, sir. You see, what I hope to do is to give the men in this squadron the finest cuisine in the entire world. That's really something to shoot at, isn't it?
Yes, Milo, it certainly is.
They had to do this 4 times. They did this 4 times, and they got what the director wanted. So it's interesting. It's costly, and how much work they go through to make this film look a certain way. It's great. It's a film that I really, really like. It was considered a flop by many in the first year, but they found that it actually came in 8th in the year of 1970 at the box office. So it was successful, and I think it was because of the cast. There were 4 Academy Award winners: Alan Arkin, Mark Martin, Balsam, John Voight, and Orson Welles were 4 Academy Award winners at the time this film was being made, so they were in the film together. And then there was 4 other nominees: Buck Henry, Anthony Perkins, Jack Gilford, and Bob Belabar. It was great production, and it's one of my favorite films. It became a favorite film later on, but it's one, and I like it because of Alan Arkin and John Voight and a few others that are in the film. They're great. They're great actors. They put a lot of their heart into it. It's something that people should see. I think if you guys watched it, you would really enjoy it. It's near and dear to me. It took 6 months because this David Watkins, he was a cinematographer, and he only wanted to film from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the afternoon, a lot of these scenes, to keep the same daylight. So the lighting was the same. So that's what affected Art Garfunkel getting back in time on New York City to help Paul Simon. And that's why some of the songs that Paul Simon, or some of the lyrics in one of the songs, is about what took place there. It's a little bit of a neat little trivia. The film has no original music score to it. It's taken from others. There's a guy, one of the people that worked on the film, John Jordan. He was a second unit director. They get up in the planes. He was filming in the planes. They did a lot of filming in the actual planes flying. And he was to signal, he wanted to get to the back of the bomber in tail gunner's cockpit area. And there was an open area, and he was leaning out, and he refused to wear a harness. He's signaling to one of the other planes, and he fell 4,000 feet to his death. So crazy, just crazy. But what a film, what a cast, amazing cast. I think Kelly's Heroes, of course, to me is above Catch-22, but Catch-22 is underrated, and it's a film that I find when I talk to people, a lot of people haven't watched it, haven't seen it. It's a film, it's a must-see film, great film. The opening is amazing, and if I can get a shot of that, maybe I'll put that on here as well, so you can kind of see what took place for the opening. It was really, really cool. But enjoy the trailer. I'm going to play a trailer, the official trailer, and then another clip where Balsam and Voight are walking down by that runway when the plane that's in damaged is trying to land, do an emergency landing, and crashes. It's kind of neat how they react, how they don't react, really. But please enjoy that. And Jay Kirsting, good job, man. I think Kelly's Heroes was an amazing pick, and I love your reason for liking that film. And hopefully you do another one soon. I would like to piggyback on that and see what you come up with. So anyway, here's the trailer. Thank you for watching, and please watch this film, Catch-22. It's great. I love it. Have a good one.
Well, just look at it once, will you? Sorry, Sarah, your head is okay. Hey! Please, don't do that. Yes. Doc, what? Doc, yeah. I want you to ground me. Don't start that again. Doc, yeah. I don't want to fly anymore. Why? It's dangerous. Listen, I told you. Let's get out of here. Huh?
I've flown 35 missions, for Christ's sake.
Take it easy.
Now that Sadistic Nut has raised the number up to 50. In any other outfit, I would have been rotated after 25. Doc, you gotta help me out.
Look, I'm due for rotation myself in a couple of months if I don't cause any trouble or break any rules. And one of the rules says I can't ground anyone just because he asks me to.
Can you ground somebody who's crazy?
Of course, I have to. There's a rule that says I have to ground anyone who's crazy.
I'm crazy!
Who says so?
Ask anybody. Ask Daly, Doc, Midwine. Hey, Orr, tell him.
Tell him what?
Am I crazy?
He's crazy, Doc. He won't fly with me. I take good care of him, but he won't. He's crazy, all right.
That's true, Vincent. You don't sound crazy.
They're crazy.
Then why do you ground them?
Why don't they ask me to ground them?
Because they're crazy, that's right.
Of course they're crazy. I just told you that. You can't let crazy people decide whether you're crazy or not, can you?
He's all crazy.
Of course he is. He has to be crazy to keep flying after all the close calls he's had.
Then why can't you ground him?
I can, but first he has to ask me.
That's all he's got to do to be grounded?
That's all.
And then you can ground him.
No, then I cannot ground him. There's a catch.
A catch?
Sure, Catch-22. Anyone who wants to get out of combat isn't really crazy, so I can't ground him.
Okay, let me see if I got this straight. In order to be grounded, I've got to be crazy. And I must be crazy to keep flying. But if I ask to be grounded, that means I'm not crazy anymore and I have to keep flying.
You've got it. That's Catch-22. That's some catch, that Catch-22. It's the best there is.